Web Daily Bible. Day 121, 1 Chronicles. Chapter 10. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain on Mount Gilboa. The Philistines followed hard after Saul and after his sons. And the Philistines killed Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. The battle went hard against Saul, and the archers overtook him, and he was distressed by reason of the archers. Then Saul said to his armour-bearer, "Draw your sword, and thrust me through with it, lest these uncircumcised come and abuse me." But his armour-bearer would not, for he was terrified. Therefore Saul took his sword and fell on it. When his armour-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he likewise fell on his sword and died. So Saul died with his 3 sons, and all his house died together. When all the men of Israel who were in the valley saw that they fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they abandoned their cities and fled, and the Philistines came and lived in them. On the next day, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, they found Saul and his sons fallen on Mount Gilboa. They stripped him and took his head and his armour, then sent into the land of the Philistines all around to carry the news to their idols and to the people. They put his armour in the house of their gods, and fastened his head in the house of Dagon. When all Jabesh Gilead heard all that the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men arose, and took away the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons, and brought them to Jabesh, and buried their bones under the oak in Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. So Saul died for his trespass, which he committed against the Lord, because of the Lord's word, which he didn't keep, and also because he asked counsel of one who had a familiar spirit to inquire, and didn't inquire of the Lord. Therefore he killed him, and turned the kingdom over to David the son of Jesse. Chapter 11. Then all Israel gathered themselves to David to Hebron, saying, "Behold, we are your bone and your flesh." In times past, even when Saul was king, it was you who led out and brought in Israel. The Lord your God said to you, "You shall be shepherd of my people Israel, and you shall be prince over my people Israel." So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord. They anointed David king over Israel according to the Lord's word by Samuel. David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, also called Jebus. And the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, were there. The inhabitants of Jebus said to David, "You will not come in here." Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion. The same is David's city. David had said, "Whoever strikes the Jebusites first shall be chief and captain." Joab the son of Zeruiah went up first and was made chief. David lived in the stronghold. Therefore they called it David's city. He built the city all around, from Millo even around, and Joab repaired the rest of the city. David grew greater and greater, for the Lord of armies was with him. Now these are the chief of the mighty men whom David had, who showed themselves strong with him in his kingdom, together with all Israel, to make him king, according to the Lord's word concerning Israel. This is the number of the mighty men whom David had: Jashobeam, the son of a Hachmonite, the chief of the 30. He lifted up his spear against 300 and killed them at one time. After him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, who was one of the 3 mighty men. He was with David at Pasdammim, and there the Philistines were gathered together to battle, where there was a plot of ground full of barley. And the people fled from before the Philistines. They stood in the middle of the plot, defended it, and killed the Philistines, and the Lord saved them by a great victory. 3 of the 30 chief men went down to the rock to David, into the cave of Adullam, and the army of the Philistines were encamped in the valley of Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was in Bethlehem at that time. David longed and said, "Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." The 3 broke through the army of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, took it, and brought it to David. But David would not drink any of it, but poured it out to the Lord and said, "My God forbid me, that I should do this. Shall I drink the blood of these men who have put their lives in jeopardy?" For they risked their lives to bring it, therefore he would not drink it. The 3 mighty men did these things. Abishai, the brother of Joab, was chief of the 3, for he lifted up his spear against 300 and killed them, and had a name among the 3. Of the 3, he was more honourable than the 2, and was made their captain. However, he wasn't included in the 3. Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done mighty deeds, killed the 2 sons of Ariel of Moab. He also went down and killed a lion in the middle of a pit on a snowy day. He killed an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits high. In the Egyptian's hand was a spear like a weaver's beam, and he went down to him with a staff, plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and killed him with his own spear. Benaiah the son of Jehoiada did these things, and had a name among the 3 mighty men. Behold, he was more honourable than the 30, but he didn't attain to the 3, and David set him over his guard. The mighty men of the armies also include Asahel the brother of Joab, Elhanan the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shammath the Harorite, Helez the Pelonite, Ira the son of Ikish the Tekoite, Abiezer the Anathothite, Sibbecai the Hushathite, Eli the Ahohite, Maharai the Netophathite, Heled the son of Banah the Netophathite, Ithai the son of Ribai of Gibeah, of the children of Benjamin, Benaiah the Pirathonite, Hurai of the brooks of Gash, Abiel the Arbathite, Asmaveth the Baharumite, Eliabah the Shalbonite, the sons of Hashem the Gizonite, Jonathan the son of Shagi the Hararite, Ahiam the son of Sakar the Hararite, Eliphal the son of Ur, Hefer the Mecharathite, Ahijah the Pelonite, Hezro the Carmelite, Neri the son of Ezbai, Joel the brother of Nathan, Mibhar the son of Hagri, Zelek the Ammonite, Naharai the Berothite, the armour-bearer of Joab the son of Zeruiah, Ira the Ithrite, Gareb the Ethrite, Uriah the Hittite, Zabad the son of Alai, Adina the son of Shiza the Reubenite, a chief of the Reubenites, and 30 with him, Hanan the son of Makkah, Joshaphat the Mithnite, Uzziah the Ashtarathite, Shammah and Jeel the sons of Hotham the Aruerite, Jediael the son of Shimri, and Johar his brother, the Tizite, Eliel the Mahavite, and Jerebai and Joshaviah, the sons of Elnam, and Ithmar the Moabite, Eliel, Obed, and Jarsiel the Mesobates. Chapter 12. Now these are those who came to David to Ziklag while he was a fugitive from Saul the son of Kish. They were among the mighty men, his helpers in war. They were armed with bows and could use both the right hand and the left in slinging stones and in shooting arrows from the bow. They were of Saul's relatives of the tribe of Benjamin. The chief was Ahiezer, then Joash, the sons of Shammah the Gibeathite, Jeziel and Pelet, the sons of Asmaveth, Berakah, Jehu the Anathothite, Sashmeiah, the Gibeonite, mighty man among the 30 and a leader of the 30, Jeremiah, Jahaziel, Johanan, Jozabad the Gederathite, Eluzai, Jerimoth, Bealiah, Shemariah, Shephatiah the Harupite, Elkanah, Ishia, Azarel, Joezer, and Jashobim the Korahites, and Joelah and Zebadiah, the sons of Jeroham of Gedor. Some Gadites joined David in the stronghold in the wilderness, mighty men of valour, men trained for war, who could handle shield and spear, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and they were as swift as the gazelles on the mountains. Ezer the chief, Obadiah the second, Eliab the third, Mishmannah the fourth, Jeremiah the fifth, Attai the sixth, Eliel the seventh, Johanan the eighth, Elzabad the ninth, Jeremiah the 10th, and Machbaneh the 11th. These of the sons of Gad were captains of the army. He who was least was equal to 100, and the greatest to 1,000. These are those who went over the Jordan in the first month, when it had overflowed all its banks, and they put to flight all who lived in the valleys, both toward the east and toward the west. Some of the children of Benjamin and Judah came to the stronghold to David. David went out to meet them and answered them, "If you have come peaceably to me to help me, my heart will be united with you, but if you have come to betray me to my adversaries, since there is no wrong in my hands, may the God of our fathers see this and rebuke it." Then the Spirit came on Amasai, who was chief of the 30, and he said, "We are yours, David, and on your side, you son of Jesse. Peace, peace be to you, and peace be to your helpers, for your God helps you." Then David received them and made them captains of the band. Some of Manasseh also joined David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle, but they didn't help them, for the lords of the Philistines sent him away after consultation, saying, "He will desert to his master Saul, to the jeopardy of our heads." He went to Ziklag. Some from Manasseh joined him: Adnah, Jozabad, Jediael, Michael, Jozabad, Elihu, and Zilethai, captains of thousands who were of Manasseh. They helped David against the band of raiders, for they were all mighty men of valour, and were captains in the army. For from day to day men came to David to help him, until there was a great army, like God's army. These are the numbers of the heads of those who were armed for war, who came to David to Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul to him, according to the Lord's word. The children of Judah who bore shield and spear were 6,800, armed for war. Of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valour for the war, 7,100. Of the children of Levi, 4,600. Jehoiada was the leader of the household of Aaron, and with him were 3,700. And Zadok, a young man mighty of valour, and of his father's house 22 captains. Of the children of Benjamin, Saul's relatives, 3,000, for until then the greatest part of them had kept their allegiance to Saul's house. Of the children of Ephraim, 20,800. Mighty men of valour, famous men in their fathers' houses. Of the half-tribe of Manasseh, 18,000 who were mentioned by name to come and make David king. Of the children of Issachar, men who had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do, their heads were 200, and all their brothers were at their command. Of Zebulun, such as were able to go out in the army, who could set the battle in array with all kinds of instruments of war, 50,000 who could command and were not of double heart. Of Naphtali, 1,000 captains, and with them with shield and spear 37,000. Of the Danites who could set the battle in array, 28,600. Of Asher, such as were able to go out in the army who could set the battle in array, 40,000. On the other side of the Jordan, of the Reubenites, the Gadites, and of the half-tribe of Manasseh, with all kinds of instruments of war for the battle, 120,000. All these were men of war who could order the battle array, and came with a perfect heart to Hebron to make David king over all Israel. And all the rest also of Israel were of one heart to make David king. They were there with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brothers had supplied provisions for them. Moreover, those who were near to them, as far as Issachar, Zebulun, and Naphtali, brought bread on donkeys, on camels, on mules, and on oxen, supplies of flour, cakes of figs, clusters of raisins, wine, oil, cattle and sheep in abundance. For there was joy in Israel.